in law school. We were friends. She exhibited an ambition. I remember her talking about the fact that there was one law firm that she wanted to work at. They were pure union labor lawyers, and she was successful at accomplishing that. Labor unions back in the 70s and 80s, all the leadership were men. She marshaled instincts, knowledge, networking to play what was really a man's game. And she managed to get them to accept a woman as their counsel. She became the first woman chancellor of the Philadelphia Bar Association. She began to populate the Bar Association with women. So at that point in time, to see that a woman could actually rise to that level, it was important and eye-opening to other women that then followed that path.
The first time I met her, we were co-counsel on a case. She was an excellent lawyer, tough, careful, and unusual, because at that time, women were trust and estates lawyers. They weren't representing the union. As a young woman lawyer coming up the ranks, she was someone who I looked to say, wow, she's doing this in a world full of men. What she did was she paid it forward. If she saw a woman who was interested in being successful and driven, she kind of paved the way. Debbie Willig is the real deal. She has demonstrated how important it is to fight for your client's rights, to be visible, to be an excellent lawyer, to be tough.
When she was a first-year women law student, there had been a fire at Temple Law School, and as a result, there were no facilities for women law students. And so, showing her tenacity, she commandeered the first floor men's room. They filled the urinals with flower pots, and they posted a ladies' room sign on the door. I think what really stands out is her having such a distinguished career. She is a trailblazer here in Pennsylvania, having organized the first women judges pack to support the candidates of qualified women for election to the judiciary in Pennsylvania. You know, she's been a role model, but in particular has been a role model for advancing gay rights. And she is a visible role model to other gay lawyers. She is always ensuring that there is a sense of belonging for all lawyers, regardless of their gender, race or ethnicity or sexual orientation.
When I first met Deb, it was in my role as a lawyer in the city of Philadelphia. She's always been the same authentic person that she was when I first met her. She's going to push for things she believes in professionally and personally and make the people who interact with her do the right thing. She was a staunch advocate for women's rights and a staunch advocate for civil rights. My memory of her is her pushing for things always for others. I don't know whether she knew it at the time. She just did what she thought was right and knocked down doors without a lot of chest thumping. She's absolutely a trailblazer. And I want to thank Deb for always looking backwards, for always being the person who inspires people coming behind her to think that they might dream of an accomplishment, do something they might not otherwise have done, but for all of the doors that Deb Willig threw open.
Sorting through the photographs and material that became that gracious video, I inevitably reflected on who and what brought me to this dais. I grew up in a family where civil rights, women's rights, and the power of the labor movement were regular topics around the dinner table. My dad, a delicatessen owner on a thriving street in North Philadelphia, raised more than a few eyebrows in the 1960s when he was the first on the business strip to hire Black employees. My grandfather was a union tailor and became the president of his local union. My mom was a proud member of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, and my sister, a proud member of the American Federation of Teachers. My family taught me that what mattered in life was to try to do the right thing, fix a wrong, solve a problem, end an injustice. I saw them live those values every day, which undoubtedly influenced my decision to pursue a career in the law. And given the benefits we enjoyed because of their union membership, it was no accident that I committed my professional life to representing working people. Like them, I never set out to create a legacy, only to try to do the right thing. Doing the right thing in law school meant fighting for more women faculty, for a course dedicated to women in the law, and yes, even for a damn women's room, which did not exist in the newly constructed Temple Law School building that opened in 1972. It meant working to create the Committee to Elect Women Judges in 1983 and successfully double the number of women on the trial court bench in Philadelphia. And it meant using my election as the first woman chancellor of the Philadelphia Bar Association more than 30 years ago to advocate for significant change in our profession. At my installation, I said we were on the precipice of a revolution, and that revolutions are a concerted reaction to the unacceptable practices of an entrenched and intolerable status quo. That revolution was fought all over this country by many of the women in this room, and I believe that revolutions follow a consistent pattern: persist, disrupt, get it done. It is a pattern that is repeated throughout our careers. It's how we've changed the profession, changed our firms, and changed lives. It's somewhat surprising and more than a little disappointing that the pattern must continue. We live in a time that many of us thought we had left behind. Today, it's not whether the bathroom exists, but who has access to it. Today, our right to vote is no longer sacrosanct. We have to fight to ensure that every American can cast a ballot that will count. A year ago, 50 years, we thought Roe versus Wade was the settled law of the land. Today, we're back to fighting over a woman's right to make fundamental decisions about her own body. And we continue to fight for a worker's right to join a union. In times like these, there is a pull to give into darkness and fear and to throw up our hands and say it's safer to get out of the water than to let a riptide pull us out to sea. But as Eleanor Roosevelt once said, it's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. And what gives me hope is seeing so many people refusing to curse or even accept the darkness. Our child, Sid, and their friends are lighting candles. They are leading a new activism that understands the intersectionality of civil rights, union rights, women's rights, abortion rights, LGBTQ rights, and the movement for Black lives. Their generation has reinvigorated the labor movement as their peers enter the workforce, see the need for significant change, and find power in collective action. Think Amazon, Starbucks, women's sports, or cultural institutions. Our firm recently has been involved in back-to-back historic negotiations, very different on the surface, but remarkably similar at the core. We negotiated the first ever collective bargaining agreement for professional women's soccer players. Despite yesterday, elite female athletes far more successful than their male counterparts on the world stage. Immediately thereafter, we represented employees at the iconic Philadelphia Museum of Art, a mostly female bargaining unit, earning far less than their peers in other museums across the United States. Professional athletes and cultural workers, both subject to wage discrimination, both saddled with unaffordable health care costs, and both regularly subjected to sexual harassment and worse. Both contracts address these issues and more, and I am incredibly proud to be part of these very big wins. However, none of these achievements would have been possible without the people who supported me throughout my career. I have been fortunate to have had many mentors along the way. Sadly, they are gone, but their influence continues. Arlene Jollis-Lotman, Esther Poland, Judges Lisa Rachette, Phyllis Beck, Dolores Corman-Slobiter, and Norma Shapiro. All firsts in their own right. I stand on their shoulders and hope that I have and will continue to pay forward their guidance and support. Our firm, it's one of the largest women-owned firms in the country, together with Elaine Williams and Stuart Davidson and partners Ralph Tatey and Nancy McCauley, all of whom I am thrilled are here today. We built a firm that is inclusive, diverse, family and part-time friendly, and frankly, a fun place to practice law, to persist, disrupt, and continue the revolution. Our younger colleagues and staff, including my right hands who are here, Jean and Betty Rogers, are committed to our mission and bring new energy to the work. For more than 43 years, we have helped working people get justice and made sure they had representation equal to the powerful interests on the other side of the table. I am incredibly fortunate to be part of such a fabulous professional family. And to my family, my brother, Larry, surprised me by flying to Denver yesterday to be here. He is the best big brother anyone could have. To my life partner, Katie, an art historian who has taught me to see the world through less legal and more creative and cultured eyes. And our child, Sid. They have ushered me into the 21st century. The worst mistake. Teaching me the meaning of gender fluid and non-binary, and even that Jewish law, the Talmud, has 8 definitions of gender. Heartfelt thanks to all. Without you, I wouldn't be here. And last, but certainly not least, my friends Bobby Liebenberg, and lawyer extraordinaire and a 2016 Brent awardee, and Joanne Epps, acting president of Temple University, for their nomination, which was joined by so many other incredible people, including the first woman Chief Justice in Pennsylvania, Deborah Todd, the first woman president of the AFL-CIO, Liz Schuler, and my partner, Wendy Pongratz. I thank the commission, its members, its chairs, and the ABA. I am truly thrilled and humbled to be part of the extraordinary class of 2023 Margaret Brent Award winners, and to be counted among the trailblazing women on the first list, on the list of prior awardees. I know it is our collective hope that those who follow in our footsteps will continue to strengthen the revolutionary pillars that have fueled my life's work, to persist, to disrupt, and to get it done. Thank you.